Yeah, I made it.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Thursday's Q&A with Haggerty Dog Training. I am Babette Haggerty, and I am here today to answer your questions that you have about your dog. We did have a few questions to get started, however, that came in through the week. I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't know if you all saw the New York Times article that was, I think, last week or the week before, but dog trainers there's a shortage. We are slammed. We are seeing an unprecedented number of dogs right now. And if you need help with your dog, or if you just got a dog, call up a dog trainer today. I promise you, if you wait, the list is going to get longer. Dog ownership is at an all-time high, and people are experiencing lots of problems with the dogs they've adopted, the dogs they've bought online, etc. So I cannot encourage you enough. I can't tell you how many people were upset with us this week because they called last week. You know, we had availability on a certain date for them to start, and then they waited 3 or 4 days, and then we were 3 more weeks out. So I can't stress it enough. You know, these people were very upset with us because they said, well, you said this date was available. Well, yeah, you know, it's kind of like airline tickets. You know, that $100 airfare to Hawaii only lasts for a short period of time. And when you see that airfare, you've got to grab it. And right now, that's the way it is with dog training. You know, we have few slots and we have just so many dogs we can train at one single time. So if you just got a dog, I cannot stress it enough because you're going to be on a waiting list. I am certain of it. I don't know any good dog trainer that isn't booked right now, months out. You know, look for that New York Times article. If you don't believe me, call a few dog trainers and they're going to tell you you're going to be waiting. So don't wait until you have a problem. Get on it now. As far as dogs, you know, we're getting a lot of phone calls from people who are telling us, oh, I got this puppy during the pandemic. I can't socialize it. You know, what am I going to do? You actually can still socialize your dog. You know, it's not impossible. A lot of socialization takes place the first 8 weeks of life when they're with their litter mates. That's where they get used to being touched and you know, fighting for position. That's where they often will learn about bite inhibition. They also learn it too with you. However, you know, it's not that you can't get it done. How can you socialize your dog and condition your dog and build your dog's confidence? Maybe you have a very nervous, shy dog. You can do that even with things locked down. And I'll give you some ideas. Go to a local truck stop. Just hang out at the truck stop. Have your kids go doot, doot to the truck driver and let the truck driver come back, boop, boop. You know, the dog is going to hear those noises. Let the dog just learn to hear those noises. Go to your nearest city. Walk down the street. Have your dog walk on top of manhole covers. You know, sit outside the fire department and wait for the engines to roar. If you live in a smaller town, you're not going to have that availability as you would if you live in, let's say, New York City or another large city. Hang out by a hospital. You know, they have sirens going all the time. Helicopters coming in, helicopters going out, you know, for the medics. So there are a lot of places you can go where you can find lots of sights and sounds with your dog. You know, stand outside. I used to tell my owners in Florida, there's always a bench sitting outside every Publix supermarket. And I'm going to assume that's still true. Go sit outside of Publix and just hang out with your dog. You know, you don't even have to see anybody. You can wear your mask. Don't worry about it. So those are different exercises. Those are different places you can go to socialize your dog and get your dog used to hearing different sounds, different noises, hearing different scents. You know, go follow the garbage truck. Go for a walk with your dog. And when you see the garbage truck coming, go out there for a walk with your dog. Let them hear that noise, all the, you know, the backup sounds, the booms of the garbage being thrown in. There are so many ways you can do this. There are apps on your phone. You know, get your dog outside. It doesn't have to be immersed with 30,000 people around it. Just get it around lots of sights and sounds. So those are a few ways you can socialize your dog. If you have a very nervous dog that maybe you adopted during the pandemic, or it's just a nervous dog as it is, teach it some tricks. Teach it some agility. Now, maybe you don't have the agility equipment in your house, in your backyard, or you don't have room for it, and it is expensive. There are backyard agility equipment providers, and you can find them online if you have the space. You can even make your own agility equipment. You know, get a big piece of plywood, and put rocks underneath it so it kind of rocks and is unsteady, and let your dog learn to walk across that so they get used to walking on wobbly things. That's one thing you can do with your dog. You may not have weave poles. Teach your dog, use my book, Best Dog Tricks on the Planet. Teach your dog to weave through the legs. Get a table and teach your dog to weave through the chairs of the table. There are all different kinds of ways you can teach tricks and even teach agility type exercises. Maybe there's a park that, maybe I'm not supposed to encourage this, but if there's a park where there's some playground equipment and you're not going to get into trouble for going there, put your dog up on the slide. Let them learn how to walk down the slide. Let them learn how to walk up the steps. I know in Wayne, I think it's Wayne, New Jersey, there is a dog park right near a kid's park. And of course you want to be careful when there are kids around. But I believe that they have play equipment. I think it's on Hamburg Turnpike. I think they have agility type equipment at that dog park. So that's another place to go. Find a dog park that has different types of equipment. And there's nothing wrong with sending it to daycare. You want to patronize a small business that might be suffering in this pandemic, go call a daycare, because daycares, they're quiet. They're not as busy as they usually are. And so that's a great place to socialize your dog as well. So those are a few tips so that you can socialize your dog and get them out there. Just get them out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get them out there and get them out there every single day. The more you do it, the better off you're going to be. Teaching them tricks, it boosts their confidence. Teaching them obedience, it boosts their confidence. It also offsets any problems that you might have in the future. So that is that as far as pandemic puppies and socializing your dog. Now, a question we got from one of our students this week. Molly has been very good about not having accidents in the house or in our other home as well. However, whenever my mother-in-law or sister come to visit, she gets so excited she jumps up on them. We make her sit before they pick her up, but inevitably somewhere she pees on the floor. She's been at my mother's house twice now and was allowed up in the bedroom unsupervised for 10 minutes because someone forgot to put the gate up. And she pooped in my mother's bedroom. She pooped behind the living room wet bar when she was allowed to run loose, and she peed in the basement at my mom's yesterday when she first came in and was so excited to see my mom and sister. My feeling is she needs to be crated or tied to crate with her leash and watched as she is not generally watched at my mom's house yet. There are a couple of things here. Now, if Molly is peeing when people are coming in and saying hello to her, that's submissive urination. That's excitement. She's young. She's still developing bladder control. So that's part of the problem. The best thing to do is if you have a dog that suffers from submissive urination, meaning they get excited and they pee, is that when someone comes in, don't have the person come in and lean over them. Back the dog up away from them and have the person just stand tall and not lean over them. Because once the person leans over them, they're more apt to urinate. Now, as far as urinating and pooping in your mom's house, definitely walk her and have her go potty before she goes inside the house. Now, if some time has elapsed since she's gone to the bathroom, then I would definitely recommend getting her crated. She's still young. And granted, she may not be having accidents at your house, but she hasn't figured out she's not supposed to have accidents at mom's house either, or at your sister's. So I do recommend crating her. And truthfully, I think that whenever you bring a dog to a friend's house, you're better off just crating the dog. You don't have to worry about getting into trouble because probably your friend's house, your relative's house, they may not be as dog savvy or dog conscious of your dog as you are at home. So they may be more likely to accidentally leave the front door open or open up the door for the UPS guy and not pay attention to see where the dog is, etc. So my recommendation is absolutely crate her. There's nothing wrong with crating her. My dad always said, a crated dog is a safe dog. They're not going to get into mischief. No one's going to do anything stupid and accidentally let the dog out. The dog's not going to run down the front, steps, not going to jump on a kid. They're crated, they're safe. So when you can't watch them, when they're still learning, by all means, there's nothing wrong with using that crate. Do I punish her and put her in the crate? Putting her in the crate is not a punishment at all. The crate is their safe space. That's where they get their food. That's where their toys are. That's where their water should be. So there's nothing wrong with putting her in a crate. It keeps her safe. She's not going to perceive it as a punishment. And you really can't reprimand her if she's urinating out of excitement. You can't really reprimand her for that. That just comes with time and bladder control. And when she's jumping, you have to tell her no. You can't let her jump. So don't reprimand her for peeing if she's jumping and she's excited and then peeing all over the place. She's peeing out of excitement. What you do is just what I've shown you before. Just bring up your knee and tell her no. Don't let her jump up on you. That's super, super important. Do I spray her with a spray bottle when she does it? You really don't, she has no control over the submissive urination. The jumping, yeah, you can use a spray bottle for that. If you want to correct her and you're at a distance from her and she's jumping up on somebody else, that's perfectly acceptable. That's not a problem at all. So I just going to see if there are any questions that are in. There are no questions yet, but I know a lot of you are on here. John, thank you so much. I'm glad you guys have power and water back in Texas and you're experiencing warm weather than we are here in New Jersey. And hi, Danny. I'm so glad you're here. All right, great. Now, another thing I wanted to address that somebody asked me to address is service dog etiquette or just human etiquette. Growing up, going to dog shows, I learned at a very, very, very young age. I must have been my first memory is maybe 3. Going to a dog show, and my dad said, "No, when we get to the dog show, you don't pet the dogs." And that was what I was trained to do. So I have been trained at a young age that when I see a dog out in public, I might say hello to the owner, or maybe I'll talk to the dog a little bit, but I don't go over and pet the dog. And one thing I've instilled in my children is that, if you want to pet someone's dog, ask them first, because sometimes dogs don't want to be pet. Sometimes owners don't want the dog to be pet. Now, and I'm just talking about pet dogs right now. I'm not talking about service dogs. We were somewhere yesterday and we were working one of our service dogs, and this girl came around behind us and just dives into the dog. The problem is, I'm going to tell you exactly why you can't pet service dogs. They are working. They are doing a job. They should not be learning that when they go into public that everyone is there to say hello to them. Okay, that's not their job. They have to stay tuned in with their handler, because their handler might have a medical issue and they may be trained to alert that owner to the medical issue, like a diabetic alert dog or a seizure alert dog. So anytime you come over and say, "Oh, I'm going to say hi to the cute puppy," even though there's a glaring sign on that says, "Do not pet me, I am working," you are disrupting that dog from its job, and you are actually jeopardizing the health of that human that they are attached to. So just because there's a dog there, you don't need to pet it every single time you see a dog, especially a service dog. And I can assure you, a real service dog handler, there are so many fake service dogs, and I don't even want to get on that topic today because then my blood pressure is going to go through the roof. But a real service dog handler is not going to want you petting their dog, because they know their dog is there to work. That dog is there to perform a task. They do not want their dog to learn that when people see them, that their job is to go ahead and greet them. And I do see a question that's just come in from Margaret, and I am going to get to you in a minute. I just can't emphasize that enough. If you see someone's dog and you really want to say hello to it, pay the owner the respect of asking them, "Is it okay if I pet your dog?" Because you know what? They may be training their dog. And that's another thing that I want to mention is, I sometimes get owners that I say, "What do I do? I'm walking down the street. I'm trying to teach Rover not to jump up on people." And then people come over, they talk to her, she jumps up on them, and I tell them no, and they're petting my dog, reinforcing the jumping. And I tell them, "Please not to do that." And they say, "Oh, it's okay." Guess what? It's not okay to pet someone else's dog without permission. It's just not. Would you go up and pet someone's kid? Would you like it if I went up and just started petting your kid? No. You'd probably have me arrested. Don't pet someone else's dog unless you ask permission first. Owners don't always want that. And if it's a service dog, please keep your hands off the dog. It is a working dog. Would you pet an oxygen tank? No. So don't pet someone's service dog, because that dog is there to perform a task for the handler. And if that dog misses a cue, you are putting that owner's life in jeopardy. So please pass this video on to your friends. And if you own a business, make sure that you teach your employees not to pet the service dogs that come in. Okay, because they should not be pet. Just don't touch them. They're fine. You will survive not petting every single dog that you see. You also don't know if you have a dog at home maybe that dog is carrying a disease, and then you're going to go bring it home to another dog, to your dog. So for what it's worth, please, please, please refrain from petting everybody's dog that you see. It's not necessary. All right, that's my soapbox for today. I appreciate you listening to me, and we have a question. I have a question regarding, is it a mistake to have pads down, expecting to have dogs do both? Yes, because what happens is when you have pads down and you're teaching your dog to go outside, where do they go? They either go to the bathroom outside or they go to the bathroom on the pads in the house. And what's the difference between the pads in the house and the area rug? So I do not recommend keeping pads down. The sooner you pick up those pads, unless you want to pad train your dog. If you have like a little toy poodle and you want to pad train it and you never want to have to go outside, or you live in a high rise and you're 90 years old and you don't want to walk your dog, that's fine. Have the pad, knock your socks off. There's nothing wrong with pad training a dog, but you are creating a problem later on. And then I'm also going to spin off on this too. Another one of the people had called us up this week, and the veterinarian, and I love veterinarians, had said, well, you know, you can't take the dog outside until the dog is 6 months, so just use the wee pads for 6 months. No. You know, I'm sure that even if you live in an apartment building in New York City, you can take your dog outside real quick to right in front of the building, because your maintenance guy or your doorman probably keeps the front clean, and bring the dog outside to go to the bathroom. The longer your dog is on pads, the longer they are learning to go to the bathroom on pads inside of your house. So that is super important. Get rid of the pads. I do not recommend them for any dog unless you are going to pad train your dog the rest of its life. All right. So Margaret, I hope that helped. Tom. Hi, Tom. Well, how would you handle a 5-month-old dog resource guarding food and biting owners other than teaching an out command? I would definitely teach the dog no. I'm curious how old this dog is. I'm sorry, you told me how old it is, what kind of dog it is. And I'd love to see those bites. If you want to send me pictures, that's not good. Any 5-month-old dog that is already showing signs of resource guarding, biting the owners. I mean, there's nipping, there's using their mouth, and then there's hardcore biting. Any 5-month-old dog, any dog that's showing signs of aggression prior to 6 months of age, that's a problem. That's the dog. That's not necessarily a learned behavior, because their testosterone in theory hasn't really started flowing yet. So, you know, if they're showing those signs of aggression at such a young age, that is a dog probably that inside is just not a nice dog. It's a mixed breed causing bruising. Yeah, Tom, I can definitely help you with that. After this afternoon, let's get together. They have to correct that dog. And I don't want to give you like a quick answer, because that's not the best answer. Like in a nutshell, the dog has to be corrected for it without a doubt. The dog has to know that they can't get used to it. They cannot get away with it. Obedience training indirectly is going to help you with that problem. And I suspect this is somebody you're working with, not your own dog. Because I believe you're a dog trainer. So that is super important, that, you know, work the dog on the obedience, teach them to leave items alone. The Assess a Hand is a great tool for that. You can buy that online. I believe Sue Sternberg sells it on her website. She developed it. All right. And John asked, and I'm sorry I'm rushing you guys through. I have to, you know, get off of here before 2 today. Yes, please, Tom, definitely get with me. John, how do you handle a 7-year-old German Shepherd who freaks out during thunderstorms? One thing you can do is give them Rescue Remedy, rub it on their gums. CBD oil is also a great thing. So let me tell you that again. It is, actually, let me write this out. I forgot I can write these things. You want to get a Bach flower essence. It's called Rescue Remedy. And CBD oil. You do have to give them the CBD oil on a daily basis. Let me put that in there. I hope that comes up. I hope you can see that. But the Rescue Remedy, you can rub that on their gums. That helps too. And I don't know in Texas if you have like a storm. I imagine you have a storm season like Florida does. So during the season, if this is the season of your thunderstorms, then I would start giving that to him now. And you can buy both of those items online. The CBD oil we've been using that we like very much is called Pet Relief. And Relief is R-E, and then it's leaf, like leaf on a tree. So it's R-E-L-E-A-F, Pet Relief. And Bach Flower Essence, which is Rescue Remedy. You can often get it, you can probably get it at Whole Foods or any health food store. And I think that's all the questions. Tom, please get with me so, we can talk. Maybe hit me up on Facebook, and we can chat more about this dog. I do have to sign off because I have an appointment in 6 minutes that I have to get ready for. I thank you guys so much for coming on today. I'm really enjoying this. At the end of this month, I was going to have Sandy Mejias, but she has a prior commitment for the last Saturday of the month. But I have a couple of other people in mind that I'm going to do the Q&A. We had so much fun last Saturday night doing the Q&A with Kevin Gilliam from Frolic Dogs. So I'm going to have somebody really good the end of this month. Anyway, thanks again for coming on. I hope everybody stays safe, and I hope everyone's weather gets better. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. See you next week.